Musca is a small constellation in the deep southern sky. It was one of 12 constellations created by Petrus Plancius from the observations of Pieter, Dirkszoon, and Frederick de Houtman, and it first appeared on a 35 cm diameter celestial globe published in 1597 in Amsterdam by Plancius and Jodocus Hondius. The first depiction of this constellation in a celestial atlas was in Johann Bayer's Uranometria of 1603. It was also known as Apus for 200 years. Musca remains below the horizon for most northern hemisphere observers. Many of the constellation's brighter stars are members of the Scorpius-Centaurus Association, a loose group of hot blue-white stars that appear to share a common origin and motion across the Milky Way. These include Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Zeta 2 and Eta Musca, as well as HD 100,546, a blue-white big A, B star that is surrounded by a complex debris disk containing a large planet, a brown dwarf and possible protoplanet. 2 further star systems have been found to have planets. The constellation also contains 2 Cepheid variables visible to the naked eye. Theta Musca is a triple star system, the brightest member of which is a Wolf-Rayet star. History: Musca was one of the 12 constellations established by the Dutch astronomer Petrus Plancius from the observations of the southern sky by the Dutch explorers Pieter, Dirkszoon, and Frederick de Houtman, who had sailed on the first Dutch trading expedition, known as the Eerste Scheepvaart, to the East Indies. De Houtman included it in his Southern Star catalogue in 1598 under the Dutch name De Vliegen, the Fly. They assigned 4 stars to the constellation, with a star that would be later designated as Beta Musca marking the head, Gamma the body, and Alpha and Delta the left and right wings respectively. It first appeared on a 35 cm diameter celestial globe published in 1598 in Amsterdam by Plancius with Jodocus Hondius, though was unnamed. The first depiction of this constellation in a celestial atlas was in the German cartographer Johann Bayer's Uranometria of 1603, though Bayer termed it Apus, the B, a name by which it was known for the next 2 centuries. A 1603 celestial globe by Willem Blaeu depicts it as providing nourishment for the nearby constellation Chameleon, its tongue trying to catch the insect. The French explorer and astronomer Nicolas Louis de Lacaille called it La Mouche on the 1756 version of his Planisphere of the Southern Skies. Jean Fortin retained the French name in 1776 for his Atlas Céleste, while Lacaille Latinized the name for his revised Column Australe Stelliferum in 1763. Lacaille renamed it to Musca Australis, the southern fly, Australis, since it counterparted the now discarded constellation of Musca Borealis composed of a few stars in Aries, and to avoid confusion with Apus. Today the name is simply Musca. It is the only official constellation depicting an insect. The Kalapalo people of Mato Grosso state in Brazil called Alpha and Beta Musca Kutsu and Angagi, ornate hawk eagles double flutes. The Wardaman people of the Northern Territory in Australia perceived the main stars of Musca as a ceremonial boomerang, part of the central arena, a sacred area surrounding the constellation crux that depicts the lightning creation beings and where they teach Wardaman customs. Alpha and Beta also signified a ceremonial headband, while Gamma and Delta represented 2 armbands. In Central Australia, the Arrernte and Luritja people living on a mission in Hermannsburg viewed the sky as divided between them, east of the Milky Way representing Arrernte camps and west denoting Luritja camps. The stars of Musca, along with Fomalhaut, Alpha Pavonis, and Alpha and Beta Grus were all claimed by the Arrernte. Characteristics. Musca is bordered by Crux to the north, Carina to the west, Chameleon to the south, Opus and Cercinus to the east, and Centaurus to the northeast, covering 138 square degrees and 0.335% of the night sky. It ranks 77th of the 88 constellations in size. The three-letter abbreviation for the constellation, as adopted by the International Astronomical Union in 1922, Muse. The official constellation boundaries, as set by Eugene Delporte in 1930, are defined by a polygon of 6 segments. In the equatorial coordinate system, the right ascension coordinates of these borders lie between 11 hours 19.3 minutes and 13 hours 51.1 minutes, while the declination coordinates are between -64.64 degrees and -75.68 degrees. The whole constellation is visible to observers south of latitude 14 degrees north. Notable features. Stars Lacaille charted and designated 10th stars with the Bayer designations Alpha through to Kappa in 1756. He catalogued stars that became Lambda. Amoeba did not designate them as he considered them informes as they lay outside the asterism proper. Bailey considered them part of Musca, and Gould gave them the Bayer designations. Francis Bailey also dropped Kappa, which he felt was too faint to warrant a name, and designated 2 adjacent stars as Zeta-1 and Zeta-2. These last 2 stars are 1 degree apart, quite far to be sharing a Bayer designation. Lacaille had originally labeled the fainter one as Eta, while Bailey presupposed it meant to label the brighter one. Reluctant to remove Lacaille's designation, he gave them both a Zeta designation. Altogether there are 62 stars brighter than magnitude 6.5 in the constellation. The pattern of the brightest stars resembles that of Ursa Minor, in that the stars form a pattern reminiscent of a bowl with a handle. Lying south-southeast of a crux in neighboring Crux is Alpha Musca. It is the brightest star in the constellation with an apparent magnitude of 2.7. Lying around 310 light-years away, it is a blue-white star of spectral type B2IVV that is around 4,520 times as luminous and 8 times as massive as the Sun. The star is a Beta Cephei variable with about 4.7 times the Sun's diameter, and pulsates every 2.2 hours, varying by 1% in brightness. A nearby star of magnitude the 13th of may not be a companion star. Marking the fly's tail is Gamma Musca, a blue-white star of spectral type B5V that varies between magnitudes 3.84 and 3.86 over a period of 2.7 days. It is a variable of a different type class as a slowly pulsating B star, a type of variable. It is around 5 times as massive as our Sun. Beta Musca is a binary star system around 341 light-years distant that is composed of 2 blue-white main sequence stars of spectral types B2V and B3V that orbit each other every 194 years. They are 8 and 6 times as massive as the Sun respectively, and have about 3.5 times its diameter. Zeta-2 Musca is a white main sequence star of spectral type A5V around 330 light-years distant from Earth. It is part of a triple star system with faint companions at 0.5 and 32.4 arcseconds distance. Eta Musca is a multiple star system, the 2 main components forming an eclipsing binary that has a combined spectral type of B8V and magnitude of 4.77 that dips by 0.05 magnitude every 2.39 days. Alpha, Beta, Gamma, HD 103,079, Zeta-2 and Eta are all members of the Lower Centaurus Crux subgroup of the Scorpius Centaurus Plancius Association, a group of predominantly hot blue-white stars that share a common origin and proper motion across the galaxy. Delta and Epsilon mark the fly's left wing and right wing respectively, with an apparent magnitude of 3.62. Delta is an orange giant of spectral type K2II located around 91 light-years away. Epsilon Musca is a red giant of spectral type M5II and semi-regular variable that ranges between magnitudes 3.99 and 4.31 over approximately 40 days. It has expanded to 130 times the Sun's diameter and 1800 to 2300 its luminosity. It was a star originally 1.5 to 2 times as massive as our Sun, although of a similar distance, around 302 light-years, to the stars of the Lower Centaurus Crux subgroup. It is moving much faster at around 100 kilometers per second and does not share a common origin. To the northwest lies Musca, an orange giant of spectral type K4II that varies between apparent magnitude as 4.71 and 4.76 and has been classified as a slower irregular variable. Near Mu is Lambda Musca, the third brightest star in the constellation and a white main sequence star of spectral type A7V around 128 light-years distant from Earth. Located near Alpha is our Musca, a classical Cepheid variable ranging from apparent magnitude 5.93 to 6.73 over 7.5 days. It is a yellow-white supergiant ranging between spectral types F7 Nib and G2 Ib, located around 2037 light-years away. S. Musca is likewise a classical Cepheid, a yellow-white supergiant ranging between spectral types F6 Ib and G0 Ib and magnitudes 5.89 to 6.49 over a period of 9.66 days. A luminous star around 5.9 times as massive as the Sun. It is a binary star with a blue-white main sequence star companion likely to be of spectral type B3V to B5V with a mass of just over 5 solar masses. One of the hottest and brightest companions of a Cepheid known. The two stars orbit each other every 505 days. Theta Musca is a triple star system thought to be around 7,500 light-years distant. It consists of a spectroscopic binary system composed of the Wolf-Rayet star and an O-type main sequence star that orbit each other every 19 days, and a blue supergiant set about 46 milliseconds apart from them. If the system's estimated distance from Earth is accurate, the binary stars are about 0.5 astronomical units apart and the supergiant about 100 astronomical units apart from them. All three are highly luminous. Combined, they are likely to be over 1 million times as luminous as the Sun. 2 Musca is a binary star system located around 15,500 light-years away made up of 2 hot luminous blue main sequence stars of spectral types O7.5 volts and O9.5 volts, with masses 23 and 15 times that of the Sun. The stars are so close that they are in contact with each other and are classed as a beta-Lyrae variable as the light varies from Earth as they eclipse each other. The system ranges from apparent magnitude 8.17 to 8.75 over around 1.4 days. Also known as Nova Musca 1983, GQ Musca is a binary system consisting of a white dwarf and small star that is about 10% as massive as the Sun. The two orbit each other every 1.4 hours. The white dwarf accumulates material from its companion star via its accretion disk. After a certain amount has accumulated, the star erupts, as it did in 1983, reaching a magnitude of 7.2. discovered with a magnitude of 7.1 on the 18th of January 1983. It was the first nova from which X-rays were detected. The soft X-ray transient GRS 1124-683 is a binary object consisting of an orange main sequence star of spectral type A3VK4V and a black hole of around 6 solar masses. During the 1991 outburst which led to its discovery, radiation was produced through a process of positron annihilation. Musca is an X-ray source composed of a neutron star of between 1.2 and 1.8 times the mass of our Sun and a low-mass star likely to be around the mass of the Sun in close orbit. Finally, Musca is a symbiotic star system composed of a red giant and white dwarf, where although the larger star is transferring mass to the smaller, there is no periodic eruption or accretion disk formed. The star system varies in magnitude from 10.2 to 12.7 over a period of 624.5 days. 3 star systems have been discovered to have exoplanets. HD 111232 is a yellow main sequence star around 78% as massive as the Sun, around 95 light-years distant. It has a planet around 6.8 times the mass of Jupiter that has an orbital period of around 1143 days. HD 112410 is a yellow giant of spectral type G8II located around 439 light-years distant. With around 1.54 times the mass of our Sun, it is cooling and expanding along the red giant branch, having left the main sequence after exhausting its score supply of hydrogen fuel. It has a substellar companion calculated to have a mass 9.2 times that of Jupiter and an orbital period of 124.6 days at a distance of approximately 0.57 astronomical units. Yet another member of the Lower Centaurus Crux subgroup, HD 100546, is a young blue-white big A star of spectral type B9V that has yet to settle on the main sequence, the closest of these stars to Earth at around 320 light-years distant. It is surrounded by a circumstellar debris disk from a distance of 0.2 to 4 astronomical units, and again from 13 astronomical units out to a few hundred, with evidence for a protoplanet forming at a distance of around 47 astronomical units. There is a gap between 4 and 13 astronomical units, which appears to contain a large planet around 20 times the mass of Jupiter, although further examination of the disk profile indicates it might be a more massive object such as a brown dwarf for more than one planet. LP 145-141 is a white dwarf located 15 light-years distant, the fourth closest to the Solar System. It is considered a good candidate to look for Jupiter-like planets on account of its proximity and mass. Deep sky objects, located on the border with Cercinus, is the unusual planetary nebula NGC 5189, estimated to be around 1750 light-years away from Earth. Its complex structure is due to multiple ejections of material from the aging central star, which are distorted by the presence of a likely binary companion. Located 2.4 degrees east of Eta Musca is the magnitude 12.9 engraved Hourglass Nebula, which lies about 8,000 light-years distant from Earth. To ETA's west lies IC 4191, a compact bluish planetary nebula of magnitude 10.6, thought to lie around 10,750 light-years away from Earth. West of Epsilon Musca is NGC 4071, a large diffuse planetary nebula of magnitude 12.7 with a magnitude 12 central star. thought to lie around 4,000 light-years away from Earth. The Coalsack Nebula is a dark nebula located mainly in neighboring Crux that intrudes into Musca. NGC 4463 is an open cluster located on its southwestern border. Around 5 light-years across, it is located around 3,400 light-years away. The comparatively old globular cluster NGC 4833 near Delta Musca was catalogued by Lacaille in 1755. It is 21,200 light-years distant and somewhat obscured by dust clouds near the galactic plane. The globular cluster NGC 4372 near Gamma Musca is fainter and likewise partially obscured by dust, but spans more arc-minutes. It is 18,900 light-years away from Earth and 23,000 light-years distant from the center of the Milky Way. Its extremely low metallicity indicates it is very old, one of the oldest clusters in the Milky Way. Extending south from it is the dark Doodad Nebula, resembling a dark L-shaped river through a bright field of stars. Another dark nebula in the constellation is BHR 71.